Hello, and welcome to the LTN Pulse podcast, a podcast where we have conversations with LTN staff, missionaries, and high-level volunteers to dig into and discover what they are reading, watching, playing, and experiencing in nerd culture. LTN Pulse is a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network, and this is a special LTN Pulse mini episode. I'm your host, Michael. I'm a podcast producer and Twitch streamer and friend of, and I don't know, volunteer in the LTN community. And I am joined by
And I'm also Michael, but y'all can call me MDB.
MDB. Thank you for joining us today for this kind of brief episode with the LTN Pulse podcast. We're here doing some talking about what LTN Love Thy Nerd has meant to different members of the community on Giving Tuesday. So kicking off in classic LTN Pulse fashion, real quick, what's your connection to Love Thy Nerd? How'd you get plugged in? Where'd you find out about Love Thy Nerd? All that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, so I am an A1 Day One guy. I've been with LTN since it was redacted on Facebook, and just stuck around ever since. I hooked up with them when a lot of people were still with Game Church, and this is kind of our split off. And it's been just a great community for the past 6 years, I think, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Awesome. That's super cool. What is one thing that you are really nerding out about right now? It could be something you're reading, watching, a video game you're playing, anything that you're just like really into at the moment.
So I blame my wife for this. She got me a Gunpla model a couple of years ago for my birthday, and then it just went downhill from there. So I really enjoy building them. They're cathartic. It's fun. Can be creative. They're cheaper than Legos because I'm a Lego man, but just not for them prices.
It's wild. Like even a real grade or a master grade kit will be less expensive than most sizable or decently sized Lego kits.
Yeah. So it's helped that little building, nerd inside of me get to do something. And I've grew up on the anime, so it's been a lot of fun.
Yes. And for listeners who aren't familiar, Gunpla is an abbreviation of Gundam and I think plastic model.
Mm-hmm.
So it's from figures or the actual like mechs from the Gundam universe long running series, and you put these plastic kits together. And I'll tell you, I'm so glad that you mentioned this. We could do a whole episode on Gunpla, full length episode. I got into that a bit with the anime when I was in middle school, and the old like high grade kits were not all that great back, in the early aughts. But nowadays, the production quality and the kit quality overall has really elevated. And they've got several different lines of varying, details and sizes that you can choose from. And dude, you are right. It is a rabbit hole. I see the shelf behind you.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous. I've only got 2 up on my shelf. But yeah, I've got a Wing Zero and a gosh, what is it? And that's a high grade, and then another high grade. Darn it, it's from 8th MS Team. It's the follow-up. Now, hold on. RX-79. I knew it was like an RX something. Yeah, RX-79. It's a classic. So yeah, I would ask you to go through all of yours, but man, that's a lot, and I love it.
We don't have that kind of time, my man.
Now, do you paint as well, or?
I've tried that a little bit. I'm not as good as a painter as I would like to be, but that's okay. I'm a little bit of a purist. I like to my favorite hobby of it is Friday night I build a model while watching whatever show it's from, and just kind of immerse myself into it.
Yes. Yeah, that is also my my style of putting it together. As I'm building it, I watch the series that it's based off of.
Yeah.
Am I looking into a mirror here with somebody with a beard? Said it like both named Michael, both into gunplay, doing it the same way. This is fantastic. I love it. So you've been, as you said, you've been with Love Thy Nerd from day one. And that's a long time, 6 years. What does Love Thy Nerd mean to you?
Love the Nerd is an ability to live out my passion around other people who have the same passions. Obviously, we just found some in this podcast. But at the same time, being able to live out my faith, whether it be with other believers or non-believers, it's just a great place where we intersect and we can enjoy each other's companies, enjoy each other's hobbies, and at the same time, as churchy as it sounds, do life together in a real way. So it's just meant a lot to me to be able to support others, have people support me, in a community that really has no other purpose than to be real with each other. And it's been a great experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's all the different descriptors that you've just kind of given have been things that I, in my generally limited experience, just like a year and a half with Love Thy Nerd, have either like experienced or have heard echoed through Love Thy Nerd's leadership or other members of the community. Like it's a shared sentiment. All of these different characteristics of Love Thy Nerd are I've found are, that's a part of everybody who is connected or involved. Like all these things you just said, all the ways you described it, it's core to this community. And I love hearing that and hearing everybody say it, because it just means that like it's that, critical to it, foundational. Do you have a story for or of how Love Thy Nerd has made an impact in your life, or where you've seen Love Thy Nerd's community or mission make an impact in the life of somebody else?
Yeah. So when I say we do life together, we've had some people go through real situations. Without name dropping, we had an individual that went through cancer. He's in remission. He's in good health now. But when the subject came up before surgery, and I kind of was like, all right, we need to do something. Let's organize a prayer group for him. 20 people said yes at the drop of a hat. Not even a question. We had people sign up for meal trains. We had people, reaching out and make sure he was okay. I mean, it was instant. And that impact of like, this is a church family. These are individuals that we may be all across the country. We may only talk to each other through chat on Discord a couple of times a day. But as soon as the situation got real, all these people stepped up to take care of it. And it just really made that impact of, wow, this is more than just your standard Discord server. This is more than just your regular nerdy community. This is people that want to love on other people. In any situation that they came up with. And even the most serious one we could find, they stood up. And they really made an impact on me, and it really made me proud to be a part of this community and watch these people, stand up for their faith and live out their faith.
Gosh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Um, what elements of the Love Thy Nerd community would you say that you are most like plugged into? Like, if you're hopping on the Discord, is there a channel that you're going straight to in the morning, or like where do you find yourself hanging out most in Love Thy Nerd?
So probably the general chat, just where we all talk about our days, video games, movies, a little bit of comics. I'm not as big into them as I used to be. And then I'm a big sports nerd. So, I've enjoyed more people coming around talking about, all this interesting thing happened in sports today, or for baseball or football or whatever it is. So that chat has been getting a little bit more active, and it's made the sports nerd in me very happy there are others.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, Michael, MDB, thank you so much for joining me on this very brief, very quick LTN Pulse mini episode. If people want to find you on the Discord, you are the MDB2, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So when you see them in general, that's who we're talking about. Talk sports with them, all those kinds of things. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll catch you around on the Discord. See ya.
Yes, sir.